Maraming salamat for that long introduction. The only reason I was able to say many of those things is because I'm older than most of you. So maraming taon na akong nasa industry. My topic is leadership, management, and technology. I will not have any PowerPoint presentation because the idea is to share with you some stories that have affected me and influenced my professional life. And hopefully, based on these stories, experiences, you might also get some insights into how technology is managed and how leaders make that possible. Well, so thank you for inviting me to share my ideas with you this morning. It is both a pleasure and an honor to be back here in my beloved college before a group of engineers and hopefully some would-be engineers. We can claim that we engineers are the building blocks in nation building, and proudly so. However, conditions have changed and the environment has radically changed from the time I was here learning from my professors to the present with a rapidly changing, technology-driven global environment. It is safe to say that many of the things we were taught and learned in our first and second years, particularly the younger generation, what you learn in the first and second years will be obsolete by the time you graduate, and more so by the time you will be working. You have seen this, you have experienced this very fast-changing environment. In fact, just to use my cell phone, very often I have to consult either my daughter or my grandson to teach me how to maneuver, how to use many of the functions. And by the way, when I was supposed to be an expert in computers when I came back in 1964, we were supposed to be only 5. They call us the experts. The power of that computer is practically the same as this, maybe even less. And that's how technology has changed our lives. I hope to be able to help you prepare for the future by sharing with you some of my own insights and experiences in the management of technology in the Philippines. Let me, however, start by stating that progress comes about because of a strong correlation among leadership, management, and technology. Leadership deals with being effective in pursuing the right moves, while management is focused on doing the right things efficiently. Effective leadership and efficient management of technology are potent combinations for progress. Since we are all expected to be managers of technology, let me enumerate some premises as cornerstones for the management of technology. First, market drives technology development and application. Except in R&D companies, research institutes in universities, or R&D departments of large companies which get involved in basic research, technology development and application in this country are focused primarily on solving market or operations-related problems. Second, technology opens up new markets and opportunities. Consider what new markets have opened up in the last 15 years alone due to technology advances in computers and telecommunications. Just imagine what new products and services have emerged because of advances in wireless technology, GPS, and microelectronics as examples alone. Third, technology is a tool that enables people and organizations to be efficient and effective. This is true whether we are in construction, manufacturing, medicine, agriculture, telecommunications, and other fields. Fourth, technology management requires a clear understanding of the environment and skill sets of people in the organization. With these four reminders, let me say that effective management of technology requires a change management process which leads to the transformation in the way people think and act in the organization. Training and constant retraining are necessary because of the rapidly changing technology environment. It is easy for older people to become obsolete. That includes many of us. I see some people here who are subjected to the same situation. They become, unless they do something, they become obsolete. They are threatened and averse to new ways unless they are given new training. Older people now find themselves reporting to executives young enough to be their children and find themselves usually stressed out. Since we are all living in an environment of scarce resources and limited equipment and facilities for technology development, we have to carefully consider how to adapt appropriate and affordable technologies to our needs. We must avoid, and I want to emphasize this, we must avoid falling in love with technology for technology's sake alone. That's in the Philippine situation. Many organizations usually import or pay for technology. We must understand that what works in other environments may not necessarily apply in our local circumstances. Foreign experts are very expensive, and their approaches to application of technology are usually grounded on their own conditions, which may be very different from our unique local environment. So what do we need to do to optimize the management of technology? It is leadership that makes managers effective and technology productive. In my den, I have a favorite poster which reads, there are three kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. Leaders are doers. They are not just thinkers. They think and they do. They inspire and they accomplish with and through people. They make people who they work with feel good about themselves and make them feel good contributing to a vision and a goal. They are people-oriented and they understand what makes people perform. Leaders make things happen. So what differentiates a leader from a manager? A leader is effective. He makes things happen. He accomplishes a mission based on a vision. He is a change agent. On the other hand, a manager is efficient. He performs the tasks with the least resources for the desired results. He optimizes the use of resources. Being efficient is not necessarily being efficient. The worst case is when you are being very efficient doing the wrong things. And I have encountered many such situations when helping turn around distressed companies. I once had the president of a company under me, and he was very, very efficient. And he did everything very, very well. He's very good convincing people. The only problem was he was doing the wrong things. And so you can bring an organization to disaster because you're so efficient doing the wrong things. Let me share with you my views on some examples of leadership in our country. Let's start with Cory Aquino. Cory Aquino was a leader who presided over the change process to overthrow a dictator. She had the strength of character, the charisma, the integrity that allowed the Filipino people to do the impossible. A peaceful revolution that inspired the world. But Cory, while admired as a leader for the critical change process, was not a manager. She needed to put together a good management team to efficiently move the country forward. However, the remnants of the old political establishment prevented our country from moving forward fast enough during her term. There must be a combination of the inspirational leadership and the perspiration of managers who would transform a vision to reality. During Cory's time for transition, we encountered the beginning of the power crisis, which exploded into brownouts in 1991. You remember that? 3-hour, 4-hour, 6-hour brownouts. We had too many people talking and very few people doing what needed to be done. We had lawyers and politicians deciding on technical matters. They were at a loss using technology. I remember the one who was made a lawyer was put in charge of the power crisis. And they called him the Mona Lisa executive. When things are presented before him, they just lie there and they die there. Ramos was a leader who took the vision of Cory and led the nation towards progress. He took the Cory inspiration and magic and started building infrastructures, telecoms. He actually deregulated the telecommunications industry. That's why you have your cell phones and you have telephones galore everywhere. He built roads, bridges, industrial parks. He led the salesmanship effort to sell the Philippines abroad as a good place to do business in. Ramos had a combination of leadership and management skills, and he led by example. He was an early riser and was a workaholic, a very contagious work habit disease which infected his cabinet members. But constitutional constraints put a limit to his period of leadership. When we follow the Constitution, there are also the consequential problems. I was one of those who openly disagreed with his staying in power longer than what the Constitution required. GMA's style was transactional leadership. We know that she micromanaged, which distracted her from the more important needs of leading the country out of the doldrums. She was intelligent. She had a vision which needed to be translated to reality by the managers she selected to help her. But political ambition made her buy loyalty and for political preservation, rather than the appointment of honest and dedicated people. It is premature to comment on the leadership and management style of our President Noynoy. We can say that he carries within the inspirational charisma of his mother, Cory Aquino. He has set a norm for integrity and honesty in the selection of his cabinet. Hopefully, they will follow and have the confidence to do the right things well. The country, that's the leadership at the country level, our presidents. But the country moves forward in an environment if the environment is favorable. And then the business and industry leaders really take charge in moving the country forward. Let me share with you some experiences I had with real leaders over the years. I learned a lot from them, and I hope you can also learn from these stories. Let me